What's up, Kickstarter Nation? I'm filmmaker Rob McCallum, and I'm coming to you with my next project, the NES Club. As the title may suggest, the NES Club is a feature-length documentary about the Nintendo Entertainment System and everything Nintendo in general, but there is a little bit more to it than that. Let's start from the top. Since I can remember, I've always been a fan of gaming, and when I mean gaming, I mean all kinds of gaming, card games, board games, but especially video games. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, there was one brand that was synonymous with excellence, one brand that literally had a gold seal of approval. This, of course, was Nintendo. I remember getting my NES action set for Christmas. I remember getting the Power Glove for my birthday, and how using the Game Genie, even though it was totally cheating, how using it made me feel invincible. And you know, nowadays, the NES is still an extremely popular system 25 years later. Doing a little bit of research will show you that retro gaming is hot and that collecting retro games is even hotter. One such collector is my best friend Jay. Jay's got a pretty decent collection. Some of his recent additions include an NES Pong machine and an arcade cabinet of Choplifter. And I started talking to him about game collecting and retro games in particular and the NES in general. And I asked him kind of off the cuff, what would be one thing in your collection that you don't have, or what's missing from your collection that would help, you know, make it complete? And he said to own every single NES game. And I said, okay, I dare you to do it. And he said yes. So the rules are simple. Jay has 30 days to collect every single retail NES game using his own money. And I get to film every single aspect of it. This is gonna be a journey of ages. We're gonna go out on the road to all the mom and pop shops, plus the notable locations, as Jay collects games over his 30-day period using his own money. And if you do the math, that's quite a few games he has to get every day, and not a lot of them are cheap. We're gonna delve into Nintendo history as well. We're gonna get some head-to-head action. We're gonna show you some of the classic titles, of course, and some of the obscure gems that exist, and get into some of the fanboy debates that exist out there, like what's the best Mario game? What's the hardest NES title? And if Sega does what Nintendo don't. This is my love letter to the 8-bit generation out there. And if you're a fan of Nintendo or games, this is the kind of thing that you're gonna love to see. You've heard enough from me. Let's talk to Jay himself so you can get it kind of from the horse's mouth.
Hey man, what's up?
Jay, I've told our viewers here what you intend to do, but I'm guessing they're a little skeptical, so why don't you fill them in so that there's no confusion whatsoever?
Well, that's real simple, Rob. I have 30 days to collect all 709 licensed NES titles. I have to fund it all by myself. I'm getting no help with this, and I'm not allowed to purchase anything online.
Now, is this even possible? Like, give me a kind of percentage that you'll be able to actually complete this task.
I'd give it about, I'd say 80-85% chance. It's really going to be the last 15-20% that's going to be difficult to complete.
Okay, so obviously you're saving your pennies because this isn't going to be a cheap excursion, but the one thing, Jay, that I want to know, and I'm sure everybody else wants to know, is why are you doing this?
Well, first off, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. 2, nobody's ever done anything like this before. And 3, if I can pull this off, Rob, for the first time in my life, sky's the limit.
Okay, last question. I know it's going to be hard to predict, but what aspects of this journey are you looking forward to? What games are you hoping to find or maybe cross off the list early? And generally, how do you think it's going to go? And yeah, I mean, share some details on the psychological or emotional side of things.
Well, I'm really just excited to be getting out onto the open road, out into the wild, so to speak, meeting fellow gamers, fellow collectors. And as far as games I want to cross off the list right away, I'd say the back half of the Capcom catalog. So, you know, your DuckTales 2, your Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 2. Psychologically, I think just throughout the 30 days, it's really just going to be a bit of an emotional drain.
Well, that's our man on a mission, and it's going to be one wild ride. We also want to reach out to Nintendo, of course. We want to reach out to James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, and Pat, the NES Punk, as well as the 2 guys from Game Chasers. There's one last thing. We want to talk to you. We want to talk to everybody that played Nintendo growing up. We want to talk to you if you've got a great collection. But we want to talk to the average person and see what Nintendo means to you. The NES Club is not just for fanatics that have great collections. It's for anybody that has a special place in their heart for Nintendo, and that means you. Guys, please help us play with power and contribute to make this film. This is a film by the fans for anybody that's a fan of Nintendo, video games, and people that love the thrill of the hunt. The NES Club. One man, 30 days, over 700 games.